Everybody, Lisa here again with another Vera Bradley bag of the day. So this is a quick follow-up to the previous video, which was super short, so I figured let me throw up another one. For the latest Disney release pattern, which is the main pattern is Sensational 6, I think. Let me check that. Where are the tags? Initially when I got into Vera, I was aware of the Disney prints patterns and wasn't that into them, except for I did like some of the vintage ones. And I've talked in other videos about the reason for that, my preference for those. The reason is that I feel like there's a different design aesthetic going on with those than there is now. I feel like now what they're doing is sort of having a pattern designed and then plunking the Disney figures down on an already designed pattern for the most part. Whereas I feel like some of the vintage patterns, the Disney shapes, whether they were silhouettes of just the Mickey head or whether they were full body silhouettes or whether they were actual figures, I feel like they were worked into the design more. And so that was a little bit more interesting to me. But having said that, I do feel like, especially when the patterns started to come out with Pluto, the recent patterns, I started to sort of pay more attention because and still sort of am, mourning Duke, my dog, Duke. And so for some reason, the patterns with Pluto became really, I don't know, I fixated on them, and I really felt like I needed Pluto, like it was comforting to me to get patterns with dogs. And so that's what's been going on, and this pattern, Sensational 6, is the latest one. It has Pluto, and it also has Goofy, who, Goofy's not a big draw for me. I mean, I don't dislike Goofy, but I mean, he's not a driving factor. He'll never be a driving factor for me. I do like him better in this than in Mickey's Sweet Treats, where he really does kind of look like a man wearing a dog mask, and it's kind of creepy. As Victoria pointed out, she's a fellow Vera fan from the Insiders group. I don't know if she watches all the videos. So in this version, interpretation of the Disney figures, there's something kind of different and interesting going on, and the figures they look even less human-like than the Goofy looked in that other pattern. So Goofy does not, he's here, but he doesn't, he really looks like a cartoon. So just to talk about the overall pattern with the Paisleys, I'm not a huge Paisley person, but I do think this reminds me, this sort of reminds me of Symphony and Hue, and also a little bit of Petal Pink. Something about the way the flowers are rendered, not just the Paisleys, but even the flowers, things like this. It has a real, like a throwback feel to some of the older vintage Vera Paisley patterns, so that's nice. And the background is a navy, and it's very soft. This is coming out pretty accurate. The color's pretty accurate right now, and it has a softness to it. So that's nice, but also gives it kind of a vintage feel. So for me, it was all about Pluto, and I managed to find one with Pluto on the front pocket there and up above. I think he's in a few other places, but I really did like that he was there in the center. There is also a character that I am calling Angry Donald. And this is thanks to Elizabeth. I don't know if she watches the videos, but she's also another fellow Vera fan in one of the groups I'm in, and we were all talking in the group amongst ourselves about these crazy figures in here and why they look the way that they do, and she made this joke that they're all drunk, and Donald... Did she steal your toy? Okay, we'll get it back. Here. Okay? I don't know what's going on back there. I don't know whose toy I just gave to who. But Peaches is such a toy hog. Peaches, you can't have both. Okay, are you happy with that one, Pumpkin? Okay, sorry. Anyway, she was saying, and there's a figure of Donald. I think there might be 2 Donalds in here. I think there's 2 of each at least, the figures in here. And she was saying that there's this one Donald. I'll show him that if I have him. I don't know if I do have him on something. He looks like he's yelling. He looks angry, like he's freaking out because everyone else is drunk. they're all having some bad trip. And so we started calling him Angry Donald, and he's so adorable. So we'll show him. I don't know if he's on this bag. I may not have locked out and gotten him on this bag, but I did get him on a zip ID. But I just wanted to talk about the animation, the style of the figures, of the cartooning here. Because at first glance you're thinking, why do all these figures have these long stretched out limbs that are just curling around in weird stretchy, like they're like Elastic Man. And what is that about? Because it looks kind of weird. And there is one Goofy. If he's on here, I'll show him. There's one Goofy who looks particularly, yeah, I do have him on here. He looks particularly broken. And that one kind of creeps me out. But I did remember that a few years ago, Disney started to release shorts. And you can see them if you Google them on YouTube. And they're super cute. And I'm not a huge, cartoon person, but I was enjoying them when I was watching them. They are supposed to be intentionally a throwback, harking back to 2 eras in the Disney animation history. One is the 20s and the 30s, and one is like the 60s, the 50s and the 60s. And those are 2 different styles. And these Disney shorts that have been coming out are making use of referencing those 2 styles. And so the part that they're referencing from the 20s and the 30s are these figures with these stretchy, elastic limbs. And when crazy things happen in the video, their limbs really stretch out in a very exaggerated way. And that's why these figures look like this. It's harking back to that. And then also in these shorts, the throwback to the style of the 1950s and 60s is the backgrounds that you see in these current shorts. They're sort of a throwback to the way the cartoons looked in the 50s, the Disney cartoons looked in the 50s and 60s, the backgrounds, the scenes that they're in, the houses and the streets and the cars and everything, the foliage. So I think that's why the figures look like this. They're making a connection to the way some of the rendering of these cartoon characters is being done now, which is a throwback, sort of an honor of the style, the original cartooning style from Disney. So you can see here's Pluto, very stretchy body, stretchy limbs. There's a Donald. This is not Angry Donald. This is the other Donald, again, stretchy, curvy limbs, like they don't have any bones. And I tell you, these shorts are really cute, and they're not very long. I mean, they're shorts. And they are cute, At first I thought, I'm not going to have any patience to sit through these, but they're cute. See if I can find another one. Yeah, here's a Goofy. Again, very stretchy limbs, so that big shoe. Here is Mickey up top in the back. Again, stretchy limbs. And this is the Goofy below that I just thought, oh my God, this figure looks totally broken. This one bugs me. But again, you can see the stretchy limbs. And they are sort of interwoven with some of the Paisley design, floral shapes, whatever, the pattern, the bulk of the pattern. The arms sometimes interlace, And that's happened in other recent patterns. You can see that with Goofy, I think, and Pluto in Mickey's Sweet Treats. So I just want to see if I have Angry Donald. Oh, here's Minnie. For people who are into Minnie. So I was never really into Minnie, and then I was watching these shorts, and you hear her voice. You hear, I forgot what Mickey's voice sounded like. You know, it's kind of a weird voice. So I was like, oh yeah, right. Something I'd forgotten about. So let me see if I have Angry Donald here. Oh, here's another Mickey. Yeah, so I think there's like 2 of each character is what it seems to me. Maybe there's more, but I feel like I've noticed 2 of every character. Yeah, I don't have Angry. Oh, here's a Goofy. I don't know if I showed that one. I probably did. So I'm always saying the mind is the first thing to go. Here, oh, I have him on the bottom. Okay, here is Angry Donald. He's just screaming his head off. So I thought Elizabeth's interpretation was just so sweet and amusing. You know, everybody's drunk. That's why they look weird. And Donald is just freaking out. And so once she said that, I really started to warm to these kooky figures a little bit more. And so I saw that humor there, and that appealed to me. So this is just a regular Vera Tote. I did break my rule, which I have Vera rules, and I'm constantly breaking them. But I do strongly feel like this is recycled cotton, so it has the style changes that you see now in the Vera Totes out of recycled cotton, and I've talked about this in previous videos. And they are a little disappointing, and they do affect the structure of the bag for me. And so I had said it's not worth it. The bag is not worth it full price. If it's on sale and I have coupons, but certainly if it's a good sale, okay, then I would consider maybe the recycled Vera Tote going forward. But I broke my rule for this because it's going to be probably a long time, you know, and who knows if it ever would go on sale. I mean, sometimes they do go on sale eventually when they're trying to clear stuff out, but that would be a long wait, and I did want Pluto. So for me, I took the hit on this. So that's unusual for me. I'm rarely buying anything full price. I'm rarely buying anything without a coupon, and or using my gift cards that I get for myself or my credit card points. That contributes a lot to what I'm doing here, the craziness, and also selling stuff and then using that money to repurchase something else. So along with that, and I had the other video I just loaded up, and I was talking about the cord organizer. Love the cord organizer. And I was so excited to see that they make the cord organizer in this pattern. So I did call the Disney store for this, and I spoke to someone really lovely saleswoman. I believe her name was Caroline. I told her I was interested in Pluto on the cord organizer if she could find one for me, and she looked and she found one for me. This doesn't have a tag anymore, that label, the pleather label, which I'm happy to let go of. I have no need for that. I have no use for that, for branding like that. But anyway, here's Pluto there, and the other Pluto in the back or the front, whichever this is, doesn't matter. Really pleased with this, and you can see the lining. Let's see. It's always hard to turn the tote completely. It's always a battle to turn a tote completely inside out. So let's see if we do this. I have talked in previous videos about the features inside. So this is the cord organizer, but it's basically got your a zipper pocket on a slip pocket, lots of tabs with snaps that you can thread things through, elastic bands, elasticized mesh pockets, slip pockets. I would imagine, I don't know, maybe this is Sensational 6 Ditzy. I mean, I don't know exactly what the name of this is. I did buy a zip ID in this, but I returned it because I realized I didn't really need it. But it's very cute. This is, I like these Ditzy. I think they do these Ditzy versions of their patterns really well. I love the way that they incorporate the shape of the Mickey head and very, you know, and other elements sometimes into, you know, a more dense pattern. So I do like that a lot. And it also does remind me of the Symphony and Hue, well, both the main pattern and also the lining. Although the lining in the Symphony and Hue and also in Blue Rhapsody is more rigid, more regimented, more structured, like almost like more grid-like almost. Not completely, but it's not as sort of like overlapping like this. So I do like that. So cord organizer, I will definitely use. And wristlet, I've been using these a lot too, very handy. And so again, I asked for Pluto. I think that's the only, oh, and Minnie, she got me Minnie. I don't really care about Minnie, but she was very excited. I found you one with Pluto and it's got good Minnie. So I said, okay. So as soon as I heard Pluto, I was sold. The back doesn't really have a full figure. Oh, it's got a little bit of a Mickey there on the edge. I am seeing a lot of things that really don't have a full figure anywhere. And certainly on the front. And you just, sometimes you don't even get some weird, like, you know, foot or something. You know, so the figures must be spaced pretty far apart. So on these smaller items, a lot of the times you won't get anything. And to me, that's just a waste. On a Disney pattern. I mean, kind of the whole point. Unless you really don't like Disney and you happen to like the you know, Paisley part of it. This is a same as every other wristlet, you know, these sections in here with card slots on them that sort of move around. And then the last two things were zip IDs. Now, these are the reason that I returned the other zip ID just in the regular Ditzy pattern because I really didn't need it because I had ordered these. And these I wanted. I said, I've got to get something with Angry Donald, and who knows if I'll find something because your store, you know, I don't have that many stores around. And so these are... Sensational Donald Duck, just calls it a zip ID case, but it's I'm sure this is recycled. This is recycled. Yes, this is recycled, but not quilted, a solid kind of color, and the figure is embroidered. So I just get such a kick out of Angry Donald. Of course, there is something odd, right, about a duck with no pants. He's got his shirt and his hat. You know, that's important for him to put on his shirt and his hat, but, you know, no pants. Okay. And it's got, instead of a regular round key ring, it's got, and this has a mechanism, spring mechanism opening there in the shape of the Mickey head. That's always nice to have one of these. And this sort of pleather flower pull tab. This doesn't really do, I think I'd rather have a ribbon here, but that's fine. And so again, you can see the Ditzy lining through the window with the various Mickey heads in there. Sort of psychedelic, sort of flower child-like, sort of hippie-ish. And then the other one, the last thing, is this Sensational Pluto. Okay, I couldn't not get the dog. I had to get the dog. Pluto anyway. Again, embroidered, same thing. You know, unquilted fabric. This is coming out a little bit bluer on my screen. I always say that there's something interesting happens with my color calibration or whatever, the light meter, however the sensors are picking up like minty green. This definitely has a minty green kind of feel to it. It's looking a little bluer. Again, the lining through the, there we go, through the window. And the same thing with just different colors, but that same kind of zipper pull. It's a little padded. It's a little cushy. And everything else about this is the same, you know, same kind of configuration inside with that piece of fabric sort of dividing the space. So that was it. So now I'm on a Vera Freeze because, you know, I really shouldn't have splurged for this right now, but I knew it's going to be gone. I mean, it's a limited edition, so I hate it when they do that, but, you know, the pressure's on, like, to get it while it's out. So anyway, that was it. The new Disney pattern, Sensational 6. Yeah, I never remember. I know I just said this. Sensational 6 Paisley. Can't forget the Paisley. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope people found that helpful to just maybe get a look at the pattern if they don't have stores near them. And hopefully see you next time on Vera Bradley Bag of the Day.